lying to us now for 75 years about marijuana. They're telling us marijuana is a dangerous drug. It's a lie. What is it? It's a lie. They're telling us addictive drug. What is it? It's a lie. They're telling us it's a gateway drug. What is it? It's a lie. They're telling us it has no medicinal value. That's the biggest lie of all. What is it? A lie. We all know that it's the safest recreational, over-the-counter or prescription drug in history. When I first started talking about legal marijuana, I was called the crazy doc talking about pot. And then 2 years ago when I ran for Congress, I was the quirky doc talking about pot. And now John Ralston calls me a man ahead of his time, a visionary. Steve Sebelius calls me the medical marijuana crusader. So the world has finally caught up with us, and Colorado and Washington are changing the country. The Netherlands has 40 years of huge success with legalizing marijuana. They have 1/5 of our drug use and a fraction of our incarcerations. Netherlands set the pace for Portugal, which now has 12 years of incredible success with legalization. The only thing that ever reduces drug use and drug demand is treatment. Nothing else reduces it. We don't even keep drugs out of prison. I have been working in the Nevada prisons, in northern Nevada, all 3 prisons, NNCC in Carson City, Warm Springs, and Lovelock, and I have been in and out hundreds of times. No one has ever asked me, do you have any drugs? They check me for metal detectors just like walking through the airport. No one has one time ever asked me, do you have any drugs? And I will tell you, drugs are widely available in the prisons because the docs there treat the drug overdoses and the drug reactions. So putting somebody in prison just destroys their life and does much more damage to them than the marijuana ever did. Coming out of prison as an ex-felon destroys your life. The marijuana destroys nobody's life. The criminal justice system and the war on drug destroys your life. So marijuana is the safest drug we have. We have to make it legal in this state. We have made tremendous progress. Marilyn Kirkpatrick, our Assembly Speaker, is now fully in favor of legalization. The Democratic state platform is now fully in favor of legalization. Senator Dick Sigerbloom, who was instrumental and is going to speak to us in a few minutes, is fully in favor of legalization. He was instrumental and worked his heart out to get medical marijuana dispensaries approved the last legislative cycle. Now, let's talk for a minute about the state of Nevada. Nevada has the worst hospitals in the nation. Does Nevada deserve better? Yes. Nevada has the worst education in the nation 5 years in a row. Does Nevada deserve better? Yes. Nevada has the worst mental hospitals in the nation. When Sandoval took over, we had 2 out of 3 that were unaccredited. Now, we had 1 out of 3 unaccredited. Now we have 2 out of 3 that are unaccredited. What does that mean? That means that not only do our patients get substandard care, but we cannot recoup funding from the federal government from Medicare and Medicaid. Do we deserve better mental hospitals? Yes. By the way, I'm a psychiatrist. I've run 2 mental hospitals. I can fix mental hospitals. We have a critical doctor shortage in the state of Nevada. We are 48th. Not only do we have a critical doctor shortage, it's going to get worse because half of the residents that complete their training here don't even stay in Nevada. They leave. Do we deserve better doctors and better health care? Yes. We have the worst public health system in the nation, 51st in funding, behind 50 states and Washington, D.C. And we're losing 50 more positions. This is dangerous. Not only do we have 2 million people, we have 40 million tourists, the highest ratio of tourists to residents in the nation. These people bring in stuff like treatment-resistant tuberculosis, and the director of public health, Dr. Eisen, whom I met with 2 weeks ago, says we now have one of these cases in Las Vegas. He cannot get on an airplane and leave because he has treatment-resistant tuberculosis. We cannot afford to adequately monitor the vectors to make sure we don't have West Nile fever. We cannot continue to keep cutting, and according to Governor Sandoval, no new taxes is leadership. No new taxes is never leadership. Let's talk about education for just a minute. We have to completely revamp our educational system. We cannot be 50th forever. It's keeping out the good doctors, the good professors, the good dentists, the good accountants. They will not come to our state. I recently read that Tesla Automotive, which was contemplating coming to the great state of Nevada, has decided they're not going to come, and the reason given in the article was our educational system. We also have the fewest number of college graduates per state per capita. This has to change. We have to work on making UNLV a Tier 1 university. Governor Sandoval has removed hundreds of millions of dollars from our educational system, K through university. We have to put it back plus some, and we have to focus on making our university system a Tier 1 university system. Let the business side focus on stadiums and basketball. We need to focus on academics. We have to have a gifted education program, because these are the future Oprah Winfrey's and Cesar Chavez and Bill Gates and Steve Jobs. And someone told me recently that Steve Jobs did enjoy an occasional puff. I heard that recently, and since this is 420, we don't want to forget those folks who are our leaders who have enjoyed our favorite herb. So, we need to have gifted education. We have to have every fourth high school in the state of Nevada become a gifted high school. Then everybody works starting in middle school and elementary school to build up to go to a gifted high school and increase our colleges. So this is where we have to go in the state of Nevada. If we are happy with what we have, we continue with Governor Sandoval. We do have a Democratic candidate who is fully qualified, and that is me. I not only am a medical doctor, I was a professor at our own University of Nevada, Reno School of Medicine. I volunteered to be a Green Beret when I was drafted during the Vietnam era, and I took care of our returning officers. I am a captain in the Special Forces Green Berets. I was when I was in the military. I've written a book called Monumental Fiasco, subtitle Our Drug War. So I have familiarity with medicine, psychiatry, the prison system, and education. If we want more of what we've got, we have 4 more years of Sandoval. If we want a dramatic change, the change involves legalizing marijuana. And it's my great pleasure to introduce the architect of the medical marijuana dispensaries and a strong supporter of marijuana. And I'm proud to call my friend Senator Dixon.
But anyway, it is very important today to celebrate 420 and to think really about where we've come from and where we're going, and hopefully by the end of this year we're going to have our first medical marijuana dispensaries. Hopefully, at least in 2016, we'll have a vote for Colorado-style legalization, and then we'll be able to tax it and move forward. The reality is, it's a drug. If you don't use it, that's probably better than using it, but if you're going to use a drug, it's probably one of the best drugs to use, a lot better than alcohol. It's being used right now, so let's tax it, let's regulate it, let's make sure it's high quality, and let's sell it to the 40 million people that come here every year so they can enjoy it too. So anyway, thank you so much for coming, everybody. And Dr. Frye, good luck with your campaign. Very impressive candidate. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Joe Hogan, come up here, please. Joe Hogan is an incredible gentleman, a lifelong public servant, a proud Democrat, serving my district where I live, Assembly 10. And when I walked into his office in the opening day of last session and said, I'm looking for someone to have a bill to legalize marijuana for all Nevadans, he immediately said yes, and furthermore went to work to get Assemblyman Paul Aisley to co-sponsor, and Assemblyman Andrew Martin, who's now running for state controller, to co-sponsor, and Assemblywoman Heidi Swank. And the 4 of them worked their heart out. We had strong support in the legislature. We just could never get to a vote. We had strong support. Once Governor Sandoval decided that he was not going to support it, there's no way we had 2/3 to overcome a veto, and that basically killed it. But it's my great pleasure to introduce Joe Hogan, who is a fabulous Irishman. I think he went, what's that college, Notre Dame? I think he went to Notre Dame. Yes, that's what it was. He went to Notre Dame, and it is my pleasure to introduce my friend Joe Hogan, who's going to say a few words.
Here you go. Thank you very much, Doctor, and good friend of mine. You know, this is more than anything else a time of opportunity. You know, those of us who care deeply about the success of education in our state and care deeply about the health of older people and younger people, and care deeply about the ability of the state to provide all of the many services that are needed by the folks, all of those needs are answered almost miraculously by creating a legalized system for marijuana, which will be used anyway, and then taxing the use of marijuana appropriately, and using those taxes to pay for all of these very expensive but yet very important services that we are determined to make available to all of our people in Nevada. This is a little out of the ordinary. You don't too often hear a public meeting dedicated to legalizing marijuana. People are a little hesitant, a little worried about that. It turns out that that happens to be the answer to so many of our major political problems right now. It's a way to move ahead in some of the most important issues that have been causing all of us headaches for a long time. And I think the ability to go forward with legalizing marijuana, taxing the use of the drug, and sharing both the benefits of the very important medical uses of the drug and the great importance of raising hundreds of millions of dollars, as has been done in every state that has addressed the matter of legalizing. So we have really no problem saying we can see the path to a much better future for Nevada. And we can be very grateful to Dr. Frye and to all of those who are saying, gee, this is a little out of the ordinary, but when you think about it, that is what we need to do. So I just want to add my absolute belief to that of all of the other people here and some who aren't here, and say that we need to get about the people's business. We need to make the educational system work much better for all of our young people who need the best of education. Now's the time to face the hard decision, and I'm hoping that most of us are ready and anxious to make these decisions, to share our belief in that, win your support for that outcome, and make this a better state in every regard. So that's why I'm for it. That's why I'm willing to be out anywhere, speaking publicly for this important cause. And I hope more people will be out there with me, because this could make a tremendous difference. Thank you, Doctor, for the opportunity.
So Dan Rush and I were at the Drug Policy Alliance conference 4 years ago. I've been attending drug legalization activism conferences now for 10 years, normal Drug Policy Alliance, Students for Sensible Drug Policy. And I went to Dan's conference because I saw in the program that the union speaker was talking about union jobs and dispensaries, etc. And so when he got all done speaking, I got up and I said, I want you to know, sir, you have just won an all-expense-paid trip to Las Vegas. And we got a big round of applause because he deserves an all-expense-paid trip to Las Vegas. And here he is, but I didn't have to pay for it. The union did. But he has been, like Joe Hogan, like myself, like Dick Sigerbloom, we are the activists who have been pursuing this because we know it's right.
And thank you, Steve. And hi, my name is Dan Rush. I'm the director of the National Cannabis Workers Rising Campaign for the United Food and Commercial Workers International Union. My card falls 3 times to get that title in there. And also, I'm very much a believer in building the industry in a science and professional-driven industry, and also a co-architect of an actual joint apprenticeship program.
A joint apprenticeship.
Yeah, forgive the pun.
Oh, you thought you were going to pull that one off, didn't you? A joint apprenticeship program.
And I'm very glad to be here. I'm also on the State of California Democratic Party Executive Board. Very active Democrat, and always glad as a UFCW person and also as an individual and a Democrat to support Democrats everywhere we can.
My name is Christine Kramer. I'm running for Assembly District 13 in the far northwest corner of Las Vegas. My party says my race is impossible, but they don't know me. No one works harder. They call me the Hebrew Hammer or Mama Cricket. Because I get out there and I walk my district. You can even look at my hands afterwards. One of my hands is bigger than the other one from knocking all of those doors. And I can tell you that I knock the doors in my district, and the three things that come up are jobs, education, and marijuana.
Serving you?
But my district's concerned because we have a lot of property on private wells, and they would like to get into the cultivation business, and we have a lot of rules that are establishing there, and it's people from both parties that really need to get this, because this is a matter of common sense, and it's a matter of common humanity.
Bruce Gale has been working ardently to get Clark County, City of Las Vegas, everybody to endorse legal dispensaries so that we can all have access. Marijuana is available for anybody that wants to buy it, let's face it. So either we're going to fund the cartels or we're going to fund education.
I'm Bruce Gale. I'm running for District Court Judge under the revised Nevada Code of Judicial Candidate. Under the revised Nevada Code of Judicial Ethics, I have some restrictions on what I can say, but suffice to say, I'm glad to be here, and thank you very much.
Mr. Gale, what department are you running for?
District Court Department 22.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have not been doing this alone all these years. There's been many people throughout the years of the legalization of medical use of cannabis. It's taken a team. Jennifer Solis started the meetup group and started the impetus on the groups. We co-founded and have been working very hard as advocates to be sure that the rules and the quality check, et cetera, of the regulatory system for medical cannabis is for the patient. This is just a precursor to legalization. Legalization, I see no problem with that. I think it's a reasonable thing, our constitutional right. We should be able to medicate at will without having to go through the hoops. We as patients hope that as we move into legalization that the patients are kept in mind, that the quality medicine is kept for the patient as well. And we hope that by creating this structure, it moves into the legalization structure of quality control and regulation, and hopefully the abuse system can be monitored and controlled by that point as the community has been dealing with the recreational. It is, as I said, a stepping point in people's minds to accepting the fact that cannabis is not a horrible thing. I did have a personal run-in recently. Part of the problem with the system is the lack of knowledge by the officials who will deal with this community. I had attended a friend's court case, and as I was going through the city courthouse check-in, I had failed to remove my medicine from my purse. And as they pulled the medicine out, I pulled out my card and my ID, and I told them I'm a medical patient, that's my medicine. The gentleman in charge came over, looked at my medicine, looked at my card, looked at me, he says, marijuana isn't legal in Nevada. And I said, yes, sir, it is. This is my card, and this is my ID, and that is my medicine. He put his hand on his hip and said, marijuana is not legal in Nevada. He said, put your hands behind your back. I spent 40 minutes in handcuff while they confirmed my accuracy of the card, because the gentleman did not know that there is a medical cannabis program in place in Nevada.
That was at the Justice Center?
That was at the city courthouse.
Wow.
And I don't want to bring attention to that specific gentleman. His ignorance is not his fault. I think it's the fault of our state regulatory system that our officials have not been educated in even the basics of this program.
Father died 5 years ago at 97 and a half. And he always said that if he lived to 100, he could have paid off my lessons.